My friends, if I hit all the right buttons, we are live on YouTube, and actually I do need to take care of Facebook, so let's do that. Facebook, where are you, my friend? And it's here. Oops. Oh gosh, how do I do this? And we're live on Facebook, I think. We're gonna monitor it here. So if you are just joining us for the live session, make sure to say hi in the chat box. Otherwise, I don't know who's there and who's not. And I love hearing where everybody is calling in from. And guys, yeah, this is pretty cool. So yeah, just I'm still watching a little bit of the tech stuff, but yeah, go ahead and say hello to me, and I'll come back and read all of your hellos. Yeah, you would think I have this dialed down by now. I've been doing this for more than close to 2 years. Oh gosh, close to 2 years. Okay, and we might have a special guest here today. He's rolling around here. Come here, Rocky. Come here. Come on, Adam. Come up. So yes, we all love dogs. We don't have a dog, but we're dog sitting this little guy today. He's Rocky, and he's a really cute dog. Okay, but not good at Power BI, so you know, yeah, excuse him for that. All right, cool. Who do we have? So our student community, our Learn Power BI family, is with me on the phone today, and I see Barry, Heather, and Nick. Hello and welcome. And on YouTube, I am seeing Kamran Bashir. Hello, my friend. Khalid Kabak. Hello and hi. Alina Jolly from Phoenix. Khalid is from Hamburg, Germany, right? Yasir says hello, and Kay says hi. Givian says hello from Toronto. Marcelo is from Brazil, Sao Paulo. Glad to have you guys on here. All right, so yeah, I mean, I don't have anything prepared. I don't have a PowerPoint. In the past, we just go through the questions, and that's it. So if you do have a Power BI question, type it in the chat window. If you have something on the phone, just talk to me, and I will do some idle chit chat while I wait for your questions. Now, of course, I am super excited for the Power BI Summit. Actually, that's what I've been calling it. I can't keep up with the names. The Data Insight Summit, Business Application Summit. So this is the Power BI Summit for me. And guys, even if you can't make it, if you have been around for the last few summits, they stream online a lot of the sessions. So I would say still mark out these dates on your calendar, certainly July 23rd and 24th. That's when the main session starts. And a lot of the sessions I'm expecting, I mean, I don't know, I haven't caught up with the official announcement, but I'm expecting that same as last year, they're going to stream a lot of these online. So yeah, so that's going to be pretty exciting. I'm presenting like 3 different sessions. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, one with the amazing Matt Allington. He's been such a close friend of mine throughout my Power BI journey, and of course I posted his interview. That might be my last video there. Yeah, go ahead and check it out. It's a pretty amazing journey. BI director at Coca-Cola. He spent 25 years there, and just kind of up and left when he found Power BI, and he talks about why, and I kind of really grill him about like, why would somebody do that? And of course I was curious to know his answer, because I kind of did the same thing. I was working at Microsoft for 6 years, and yeah, I up and left, and well, I think I know my reasons, but yeah, I wanted to really understand, like, why would somebody like Matt do it? So yeah, that's going to be that, and we have something exciting planned for, kind of my community, the Power BI Pro community. We're going to be running a 5-day challenge right after that, and the whole idea is that if you're anything like me, I go to these conferences or attend them online, whichever, and I get really super duper excited. But then I come back and it's hard to apply any of it. You kind of get distracted and something happens and blah, blah. So the idea is to carry that energy forward and go into this challenge where you actually get to apply it. So I have run this in the past and has been received pretty well, but I'm super excited to kind of run it on the heels of this summit and see if we can take all that learning and put it into action. Okay, so sometimes I realize that I need to shut up and stop talking for the questions to kind of come in. So again, if you have any Power BI questions on the phone, speak up. Otherwise, this might end up being a very short call. Hope that's not going to happen. All right, my friends, what do you got for me? What's on your mind? It's okay to kind of share thoughts, comments as well. Incremental refresh. Okay, we have our number one question from Khalid. Can you show some best practices of the new incremental refresh feature? So I'll admit, guys, I don't stay up to date with all of the news. And you know what? That's okay. I used to beat myself up about that, but I've stopped doing it, and I would highly recommend that you do that too. In fact, to all my new students who join my Learn Power BI program, the paid program, I tell them that make sure you unsubscribe to the Power BI blog and all of that stuff, because it feels like a lot is happening over there, but believe me, it's like we have this core, right? And how do I draw a circle here? There we go, right? And we got this core knowledge, and yes, sure, they're like there are additions to it. Oops, I was trying to draw a circle. Not very good at this. There are kind of new additions to it. Okay, I messed it up totally now. ignore that drawing. My attempt at drawing. I'm equally bad with pen and paper, so yeah, it's not the digital media format. But yeah, it feels like a lot is happening. But you know what, guys? I work with on big problems with all from small companies to large, and it's the core that you need to focus on. It's always the 80-20. But let me stop beating around the bush and see what they have. So I have been using incremental refresh in. So I was supposed to note down the time we started this. So 0749, let's mark it as that. We're talking about this. Oops, 3. And what I wanted to say was that I had been using this in SSAS Tabular for a while, and that was the only place this was available. Now, my understanding is, oh gosh, yeah. So, first of all, it's only in Power BI Premium. Not too happy about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about that. I mean, whole Pro Premium. Anyway, Power BI. Oh gosh, it's not even Pro. That's a killer. Not even Power BI Pro. So you know what, guys? I can't help but talk about this. So there's this gap which me and Matt Allington we both work with a lot of kind of small and medium businesses, and you know what? Even with small and medium, I don't know what to call it, business teams within very large companies. Yeah, I mean we're talking like Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Fortune 5 companies, right? But they have a small team. One team in finance wants to try this out, and the dynamic right now is that if you're on that smallish side, you're okay. You're okay. Now, of course, you can start off as free. That's great, but then you go pro, and that is $10 per user per month, and that is. Man, I think that's great value for the money. Great value for the money. But of course, as you start scaling out, once you go like 50 users and beyond, it starts to irk, especially for let's call them read-only users, view-only users, something like that. It starts to become problematic for that, and Power BI does have an answer for that, which is Power BI Premium, or I should just say Premium, but that starts at $5,000 per month. So if you do the math, you're talking about 500 users or more, because if you have less, you can just buy Pro. Now, this is the gap. So there's a big gap between going from here to here, And me and Matt have been advocating that there should be something in the middle. And I'm not sure. Maybe they'll announce it in this summit. I will say I'm not holding my breath because Microsoft does tend to focus on the larger companies, and I don't know. So enough said about that. Let's tackle this. May release, incremental refresh about metadata, increase dataset size, XMLA endpoints, and so forth. So you're talking about the best practices. So that's actually simple to answer because I have done that in SSAS Tabular. So what is the idea of incremental refresh? Just to get everybody to speed. Well, imagine if you had a data set of 50,000 rows, it took you 2 minutes to refresh. Then, you don't want to think about incremental refresh. But let's really kind of up the dial on that. And let's say you have 10 million rows, huh? How about that? And you know what? Gosh, it's whatever the source is, the network speed, blah, blah, blah. It takes you 2 hours to refresh. But then you ask yourself, do I really need all the 10 million rows every time I refresh? And maybe refreshing once a day, 4 times a day, who knows what, right? And you go, no, not really. I mean, most of that data is from last year or last 10 years, and I'm pulling all that in. The only data that changes is this year. Now, what you do have to be aware of, actually, I'll save late arriving facts. And I'm so proud. Actually, my mentor, Greg Weber, is going to be proud. He's the one who taught me everything about data modeling, which has been my secret weapon in Power BI. And that's going to be my key focus in the Data Insight Summit, and that's my key focus in whatever I teach as well. So let's table that for now. And so you say 10 million, 2 hours refresh, but you say, you know what, I only want to, the only data that's changing is, let's say, I don't know, current month or current year. So I want to refresh this. Does this work? Oops. Oh yeah, that worked. So I want to refresh this one daily, but historical data, you still want to refresh it, I think, but I don't know, once a week. That's what we did, right? So now current month, depending on what you're doing, so you set up 2 partitions, one and I'm going to use like a SQL Server example because that's simplest for me. So you can say, yep, select blah, 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 star from, and you do a where clause and you say the current month. And you use functions so that is dynamic. And then you do another query, which is kind of the opposite of that. So say anything prior to current month. So you have these 2 partitions, and partition 1, you refresh daily. Partition 2, you refresh once a week. So that's the gist of it. Apart from that, let me think. Anything around kind of best practice? I'm thinking about like different scenarios. I think obviously you would have to choose this one. Like, so how do you decide? Is it current month, current year? That depends on. Ooh, cool! I get to talk about this. So again, gosh, I'm not that smart, but I'm going to channel my inner Greg Weber. That guy's amazing. He works in Microsoft still. So imagine a table, right? Imagine a table, and it's a sales table, and we have. Every day we have, I don't know, January 1st or January 2nd, maybe multiple records on January 2nd, January 3rd. But sometimes it happens that you would keep going like this, but then you would get a Jan 1st, and this would be a late arriving fact. And you know what? This happens often enough. Now, of course, in finance, there are some special cases like adjustments and such, and I wouldn't even call them late arriving facts, although you can see it that way. But sometimes data is delayed. I mean, sometimes there's a ETL process going on in the back end of these systems, and maybe you have multiple plants, multiple stores, and like, oh, the store had an internet outage and they couldn't upload their data, or blah blah, something like that. So there are a lot of scenarios where you would have late arriving facts. So you want to use that, and that's why even if you will say that, it may feel like, oh, anything be past the last current year is not going to change, but still I would say it's a good practice. So just do a complete refresh kind of once a week. Cool. So let me know what you thought about that. Let's see if there's anything else there. Ooh, so I see something in my chat box from my students. So guys, I will look at it. I will say that Arjun is on. Hey, Arjun, my friend, how are you doing? Good to have you here. this is one could be a doozy. So let's go. So Erzen, I'm not sure if you can unmute your mic. It'll be fun to talk to you. But I'll leave it up to you.
Hi, Avi.
Hey Erzen, good to hear your voice, my friend. All right, let's see what you got for me.
I don't know if others hear me, but is that so or not? Are you the only one that is hearing me?
No.
Okay.
Everybody who's
No,
on is hearing you right now.
I could say I'm clean.
Wow, man. Thank you.
So
That's
long way to recover, but I'm clean at the moment.
Thank you for sharing that. That's big for me. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's see what Arjun has for us. So Arjun, you're in Netherlands, is that right?
Yeah, I'm in the Netherlands. That's correct.
Cool. All right, so Arjun is in or learn part of your family, and let's see. How would you solve the following? On-premise SQL database. Okay, cool. Using Enterprise Gateway. Yep, nice. And then require a SharePoint OneDrive access because data from a third party is only accessible by SharePoint located Excel file. Okay, cool. Let's let me just write it down. How to combine on-prem SQL plus OneDrive Excel file. Oops. I'm not sure if I've tackled this exact scenario, but I'm thinking.
It gives an issue with the gateway, really.
Yeah, but the gateway is only used where it's needed. So if you have a cloud source, it'll go directly to it.
Yeah, except for that SharePoint. If you use a web reference, or is it the new version now that is fixing that?
Whoa. So the SharePoint, I have to ask you, there's SharePoint on-prem, and then there's SharePoint online. If there's SharePoint online, you're good to go. I mean, you'll have to set your credentials there. So do you know which one is it?
Yeah, it's a SharePoint from that company. So it's an on-premise SharePoint environment. It's not a SharePoint Office 365 or anything like that.
Yeah, okay. So let's say it's SharePoint on-prem.
It's from another customer than the SQL database is.
Oh boy. So, okay, got it. So customer 1 has an on-prem, not SQL database, and customer 2, and to help to kind of keep it straight in my mind, I'm imagining this is a very viable scenario. I mean, this could be a large company where they have two
customer for the sample. Customer 1 is building a dashboard. That's their own data from their systems.
Yeah.
But it's not really a customer 2, but that's a third party that is also delivering a part of the information.
Yeah, makes sense.
And they need to combine that in that single dashboard that they are providing. But the third party customer or the third party is not delivering the data directly.
Yeah, so
nice, eh?
Yeah, this one is a good one. I might need some help brainstorming, thinking out of the box. I don't know. So, on the surface, it feels like this is impossible, right? Because you can't point to two gateways. Not that I know of. Right? But what could we do? Now, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it's not that you have to point to two gateways. It's how do I explain clearly? The customer 1 is the one that is creating the Power BI dashboard and report.
Yeah.
They have their gateway installed.
Yeah.
For accessing their on-premise SQL database.
Yeah.
And they have to pull data from the second SharePoint environment through that same gateway, of course. Oh no, that's of course locally. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So for that SharePoint, it doesn't matter really because they are going through the internet or.
So what if? So customer 1, let's give them some names. That would help me. Contoso. Right. Let's try that.
Yeah.
And third party is Fabricam.
Avi.com.
Let's go with these guys, our Microsoft friends. So what if Fabricam allowed Contoso.com account access to their SharePoint on-prem. And again, I'm just brainstorming, and I'm not an expert on this, but I know for SharePoint Online, you can have external tenants.
Yeah.
So that could be one option, right? So right now, let's not judge. So guys, I mean, I'm saying this more to myself. Like brainstorming, usually the rule one is like you don't judge while you're coming up with ideas. So that's one. What else? So I'll just throw stuff out. Yeah. Do you have something?
Yeah.
Anything
No, yeah,
crazy?
it's a web pass, so then you don't have those access. You cannot give the. It's only giving me the Windows authentication, but that will not work, and it's giving me the basic authentication, and that seems also not to be working.
Oh, so
But
you have tried this route, is it?
yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
of course.
Okay. No,
But
that's all
I hear
right.
somebody talking about the OData route. Is that a possible other way or not? Is
Well,
that another way to access or?
OData feed. I'm not sure. So I know it is an Excel file. Can you expose? So I know. Yeah, I'll say I'm on a thin branch here, but you know how in
Yeah,
Power BI you can kind of publish to web, share publicly. Oh, gosh, I don't know, guys. Let's see if you have any comments in here.
somebody already
Uh,
done this sometimes maybe to try it to build it.
yeah. I don't know. OData doesn't feel right to me. I'm really thinking that a system which I don't know. I'm feeling good about PowerFlow. See if that has some automation. So in my business, I don't use PowerFlow. Now there is a tool Ifttt which is pretty popular out there. I actually use Zapier quite a bit. But the whole idea behind well, so PowerFlow is Microsoft, so it one is little heavy on Microsoft, but still the idea behind this is to take really disparate systems and make them work together. For example, I mean, for I'm using like imagine SurveyMonkey and I don't know some email software, totally separate, two different companies, but I can hook them up so that you say, hey, if you get a new survey response, send them this email, something like that. So I feel hopeful there, but yeah, you would have to explore that. Mm, yeah,
Yeah. You
those
never
are
occurred this yet. Yeah.
I don't know out of the box. Of course, if you're really going down that route, the rabbit hole, then it is an Excel file.
Yeah,
Um,
we are Dutch, yeah, so we are doing strange things sometimes.
yeah. So obviously you can have like a macro or some other system. So these are I would say like standard systems, right? So there's cloud based and as long as you can authenticate. But what if we have a custom system, right? So you would have to write it, and of course I only know Excel and VBA. That's the extent of my programming. But something like that, which uh, I'll say example Excel macro, which moves the file. I did think of a interesting one, although I'm not sure it's gonna work. A file gets emailed to if we can automate that the file gets emailed to contoso.com. Not sure what kind of system it's coming from. So Power BI can connect to email, but I'm not sure if it can handle attachments. It may not be possible, but of course,
Is
if
that
we are
really
there,
is
if
that really Power BI or do you mean in Flow now? It
no,
can
Power
connect.
BI. I've done this. It's kind of crazy. You just say, "Oh, boop, connect to my email," and well, so I will say that my email, the email for kind of avising.com, that runs on Office 365. So can it do it
Yeah.
only for Office 365, or can it do it for others as well?
Exchange
Maybe it can.
environment, really.
Yeah, and of course, if you're talking about that, so again, I don't know. So some basically, I think there's some custom system which moves the file, and from Fabricam to Contoso. Uh, so yeah, that's the best I have so far. Mm, of course, this would work, but this might be a little bit of heavy lifting. This
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know. These are great at cloud-based systems. If you have two cloud-based systems, man, it can pretty much connect anything to anything imaginable. It's insane. But since this is kind of SharePoint on-prem, I'm not that hopeful. Yeah, I'll say if you haven't already, post that in our group, and we'll see if how things
Uh,
go. And if you're
I'm now
still, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I'm now at your place because it's in some groups, but nobody figures out. And I know there is already a Microsoft ID up and running
Oh no
to
no.
get those combination of files better in
Oh
that
okay.
gateway.
Yeah, but have
Yeah.
you tried posting it in our student group?
No, 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 not yet. I will do
Okay,
that.
that's worth a
And
shot. And if that doesn't work, I'm gonna pull out the ace from the hole for you, my friend. All right. So
I will try
yeah.
these options that are
So yeah.
standard that
So
I do
so
see.
Treb Gate. I actually don't know how to say the last name. I'm embarrassed. But yeah, Microsoft MVP, just SharePoint wizard. So he teaches Power BI I think now, but he came from SharePoint. He's just a wizard. So if all things fail,
Okay.
we can always I can always just say, hey Trev, what do you think about this? And he
Oh,
may
well,
have
yeah.
a quick
Okay.
solution.
I see online Microsoft Exchange is only Microsoft Exchange Online, so I think that's their email connector at the moment.
Ooh, well, I like the sound of that. I mean, Exchange Online. That means this should be possible. I'm not sure it can handle attachments though. Like, can you tell Power BI to download attachment? I'm not that hopeful, but still worth a try.
I will just have a look and give it a try, maybe, to see
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
possible.
I'll say certainly if you can cobble this together, that would work. Yeah, just try it out. Otherwise, Treb is our man. Cool.
All right,
All
thanks.
right, my friends. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Let's go to YouTube, and you guys have been chatting away, and I feel I need to catch up. That's cool. Let's go here, and how am I gonna do it? I'm not sure how well it pastes. Did that work? Okay, let's see what we take on next. Andre is asking, is there any way to integrate in Power Query with REST API auth 2? Ooh. Get key, then use the send post method, get the real data. I think that's a little bit beyond me, at least unless you kind of shared your screen and I was debugging and seeing what's going on. So I'll skip over that for now. If others have comments on that, just chime in. Power Query with REST API auth 2. Yeah, I will know. Can I connect XML data on the web? You absolutely can. Let's take that really quick and easy. So we'll say 027 58. And that one is. So of course I don't see your real names, and sometimes I know you guys introduce yourself, but I kind of like your YouTube name here. So Steph. Okay, cool. Can I connect to XML data on web? Now, if you have an example, a URL, that would be phenomenal. But yeah, XML data should be pretty straightforward. And you just say web, point to the XML data, and Power BI from that point on. You can parse XML as needed. And of course, there's, I mean, if XML is pretty structured, then it's a little bit easier. If it's very unstructured, then you have to kind of solve it that way. But yeah, definitely can be done. So, boy, that felt too short an answer. So Khalid is saying, what about an SSIS? I'm not. Oh, I'm not sure what the context here is here, Khalid. Like, are you talking about the query editor? Yeah. So guys, help me out if I'm out of date here. But actually, let's close the loop on the XML thing. So I believe if you just simply say web resource, a new source web, that would work. Or I think if you say XML and then point it to so if you say XML and then point it to a web URL, that would work too. So in here you can just paste the web URL, or you can go file web and then paste the path to the XML. It'll work the same way. I'm pretty sure, but you can try it out. And yeah, it's going to let you parse it. I think I do have at least a simple example inside my course for XML, but yeah, I think it's going to be pretty intuitive. It's if you know Power Query, then it's not going to be that hard. But and again, hit me if you need to see more on XML. At least I can pull up this simple example that I have about getting data from XML file. Okay, cool. All right, let's get back and ooh, I like this one. Mm. And I'll fill in. I hope I get it right. What about query editor, Power Query in SSIS? So, and I apologize, I'm not up to date on this, but I know this was planned. Has that been delivered in the latest version of SSIS? I'm not sure, but I know Microsoft is working on it. So if somebody can kind of confirm that, that would be great. All right, let's see. You know what? I'll just watch it here. Oh, that's better. Oh boy, Kamran, you're killing me, man. No, that's a good one too. So let's talk about Power BI versus Tableau. So let's see what Kamran is saying. Is Power BI a better tool compared to Tableau? Can we just learn Power BI in depth and become a pro in BI without learning Tableau? Click View, click Sense. Also, if yes, what should be the scope of learning? Boy, actually, that's a good question. So let's tackle Power BI versus Tableau first. So I'm gonna speak about it. So let's see. I do have a few videos around Tableau. This is a good one, Power BI versus Tableau. And I'm sorry, guys, there's going to be a spoiler. I'm going to give away the ending for this. And then Power BI versus Tableau, how to make them work together. So in this one, I talk about 5 factors, and I do compare Power BI versus Tableau. But the number 5 factor is not really a factor where I say, guys, just stop thinking about it as versus. And of course, the second video reinforces that point. So it's not an either or choice. Most modern organizations that I'm seeing already have mixed use scenario where, so what I typically run into is either a Tableau shop with a pocket of Power BI users, like, oh, I don't know, we're finance, we're Excel user, we love Power BI. Or opposite of that, a Power BI shop where they have Office 365 licenses and all of that stuff, and then they have a pocket of Tableau users, usually kind of heavy duty, heavy hitting analysts. Maybe they already have a background in Tableau, right? So it's mixed use, and it's going to be increasingly that way. If you look at what's going on in the tech industry, it's all about that, right? It's all about, look at Microsoft working with Apple. Unheard of. Microsoft showing up at the Apple keynote. Unheard of. I mean, gosh, Microsoft working closely with GitHub, acquiring GitHub. It's just crazy, right? So, but that's the world we live in, that it's kind of an open scenario, and really a company is judged by how well they work with that. And the old Microsoft, those days are gone, and thank God they're gone, right? The old blinders were like, no, there's nothing else besides Microsoft and Windows. Those days are so gone, and I'm glad kind of Satya took the lead on this. So, yeah, these tools. So in here, if you watch the second video, I do think that there are a few scenarios where they can work, but also integrate even closer. And guys, I submitted ideas to both Tableau and Power BI, and let's just see how much traction they're getting. I don't know. I mean, sometimes with the ideas, you never know. Okay, so Tableau side, not that much. Four votes, 12 votes here. So, gosh, maybe it's just me who's passionate about this, but I really feel that this is big. This is huge, and it's going to help both the companies and the customer. So I call it win-win-win. So Power BI Tableau, moot question as far as companies go. But what about from somebody like a BI professional? Oh boy. So we talked about kind of for companies. For companies is a moot point. And let's talk about for individuals. Like, Avi, yeah, I get it. Sure, large company mixed use. But what do I do, right? Which one do I learn? Do I go all in Power BI? Is it story time? Hey, if it's okay, I'll share a quick story. And it's been so powerful for me. So just humor me for a second. Now, I run my own business. I work from home most of the time, and I joke with my friends that every day is bring my kids to work day. At least my son. So my daughter is 9; she's a little bit younger, but my son is 14, and I talk to him about everything in the business. I mean, seriously, like everything. I mean, hiring new people, growing my team, blah blah, copywriting, sales, blah, everything, like chorus and what the students are doing with the success they had. So I talk to him about everything. And yeah, so he usually checks in on me. Hey, Dad, what are you doing these days? What are you working on? Blah blah, all of that stuff. And lately, I wasn't giving him a straight answer, and I would kind of brush him off, and in fact, I would feel annoyed. But one day, he asked me the same question, like, "Hey, Dad, what are you working on?" And I broke down a bit and admitted that, son, actually, to tell you the truth, I haven't been very focused, and I have these good ideas, and yeah, but I'm just been stuck. And boy, I mean, he is so wise beyond his years. In some ways, kids are, right? And he said, "So, Dad, why don't you focus on one thing?" And me, I was being the adult. I'm like, "No, no, no, you don't understand. It's more complicated than that. And I could do this." And I said, "I could focus totally on my YouTube channel, or I could do this and focus on this." And I had like 4 different ideas. And he said the same thing. "So, Dad, why don't you pick one and focus on one?" And I was still like, "No, no, you don't understand." And then I realized what I was doing wrong. I was stuck in, like, actually, I wasn't using the heck word, but how do you pick the right one? How do you pick the right option? And you're kind of stuck there. How do you pick between Power BI and Tableau? And then I realized that I needed to take the word right out. And it wasn't about pick the right path. It was about pick a path, and that is so powerful. And I'll go back to my mentor Greg Weber, and that works as well. And he said it's easier to move one ball. Shoot, I can't type. I'll just say it. It's easier to move one ball 20 yards forward than to move 20 balls 1 yard forward. So you got to ask yourself, what do you want to do? So guys, my advice, go all in, my friend. All in. Come on. I mean, yeah, and once you're going to do it, you're going to be in such a better space. So stop just analyzing to death. I know I do that. Analysis paralysis, that's like the double-edged sword of anybody who works with data. We tend to do that, right? So easier to move one ball 20 yards than 20 balls 1 yard. And Power BI. So if I'm gonna get a little bit biased here today for this one. Man, Power BI is a phenomenal tool. A phenomenal tool. I mean, I talk to my students, my clients, and sometimes I'm talking about one feature, and I would say, you know what, Power BI, I love it. I could love it just for this one feature, and that's just one feature out of many, many, many. So Power BI, absolutely, it can go all in. So man, and then your third question, and I'll be quick on it. Hopefully this is helping you. What should be the scope of learning? So I'm going to give you the unvarnished answer. I'm not going to mince my words. All right. So, and if you go on my channel, one of the latest videos I have is, and I'm so sick and tired of it, guys. I'm just, really, if you want to go this route, go for it. But don't later you might hear I told you so, right? So if you want to treat Power BI like PowerPoint, go for it. And that's what I see people doing, where they're so focused on the visuals that you shouldn't be focused on that. Power BI is not a reporting tool. Yes, it does reporting, but it is a data modeling tool. Data modeling, right? What does that mean? What the heck does that mean? The best place you can see the model, you can see it, is in the relationship view. That's where you see it, but that's not where you create it, right? You create it in 2 spots. You create it in the query editor. Actually, you start by drawing it on whiteboard. and on let's say paper or whiteboard, and then you bring it to life using Query Editor, give it shape. That's your chisel. That's your kitchen, right? I talk about that. And then once it's taken shape, then you breathe life into it. Huh? How about that analogy? Maybe you're thinking of Frankenstein. No, this is the good monster, not Frankenstein. Using relationships and DAX. And relationships, you might think that's easy. That's I see a lot of people totally messing up on that because they don't understand. I mean, for one, if you're leaving it to auto detect, that's a number one mistake. If you have a whole bunch of bidirectional relationships, that's a mistake. If you, yeah, right. So that is important, but it all starts here. So that's where your focus should be on. That's the 20% that gives you the 80% of the return. And again, it's easy to get distracted by all this shiny stuff because that's what you see. That's what you see in the demos. But I don't know. Well, of course, because it looks pretty. And of course, if the messages you hear from Microsoft, they're trying to battle counter Tableau and ClickView, and everybody's playing the visual game because guess what? That's what the CEO sees. CEO doesn't care about any of this stuff, but anybody who has worked with data knows that this is what's important. So of course, that's what I would advocate. That's what I teach in my course. So you would see it. So Zero to Dashboard tutorial, that's kind of the end-to-end. And even that one focuses a lot about modeling. It doesn't show you just pretty pictures. So that one is available on YouTube, but then I dive in. I show you the query engine, relationships, DAX. I do have a module on visuals, but even that, guess what I'm talking about most of the time there? I'm talking about the visualization best practices. I'm talking about Stephen Few. I'm talking about how simple is better, not glitzy, not this blah bling and all that stuff. And of course, I talk about the Power BI platform. Okay, cool. Hopefully that helped. Let's see some of the recent comments. Khalid is saying incremental refresh using SSIS. Okay, got it. Incremental refresh. Let's reframe that. I don't. Yeah, I'm not qualified to speak about this. So Greg Weber in our team, he was a SSIS guy, pretty amazing at it. But gosh, I saw his work, and I will admit it felt to me super complicated. So guys, I'm a business user, come from an Excel background, and there's some things which I did not find approachable. I felt like they were beyond my reach. SSIS was one of them. And again, sometimes a matter of trying. But again, I mean, Power BI came so easy to me, right? I mean, it just, why not? Why not do the easy stuff? So again, for you, depending on your background, it might be different. But so SSIS, I can't comment on the incremental refresh there. Sure, if you're savvy enough to do that, good for you. But SSAS Tabular and now Power BI with Power BI Premium has that built in. SSAS Tabular is easy. So again, frankly, guys, I'm not one of the smartest ones in the bunch. So if I could figure out incremental refresh in SSAS Tabular, then you can too. All right, so boy, I keep getting kind of deep dive. Let me see if I can do like a quick thing here. So Kamran is asking, hey, could you please confirm when my next course is coming? So the next course is coming soon after the Data Insights Summit. And so I'm excited about that. I think if you go on my site, learnpowerbi.com, you can sign up for the wait list. That way you're going to be the first one to know. And yeah, guys, so speak a little bit about my course. For one, I really believe that learning comes from doing. So yes, the content is there. First year I wrote my, I can't even say it right. 2009 was when I wrote my first DAX measure and spent my time in Microsoft, kind of learned it there and been teaching it and doing consulting on it for so long. So all of that knowledge is condensed here, but don't let any of that fool you, all right? I mean, that's not where the real learning is going to come from. I mean, you're going to let it wash over you almost, and sure, there are files in there and exercises, and that'll give you some muscle memory and practice, but the real learning is going to come when rubber hits the road, when you start doing it on your own. And now, I will say that if you are in a position where you can apply it at your workplace, then this is perfect for you because, yeah, we have weekly Q&A calls inside our class, and they're a little different than this. They're a little more interactive. You jump on the phone and so forth. And we also have our private Facebook group. That's pretty cool. And I go live inside there. We do Q&A there and all that stuff. So the idea is to follow the chorus, apply it, and I know you would get stuck. That's guaranteed, because real data, my friends, is messy data, and but then you have tons of help inside the Facebook group and all that stuff. So here you can sign up for a course waitlist. Cool. So that should take you there. What else? I felt like I wanted to say one other thing. Of course. For those of you who follow me on YouTube, and you all should, I guess, is we ran this real Power BI project inside the class, and I shared like snippets of it on my channel, and check it out. And the survey is still out, so I asked my students that what did they think about it. But I will say that I had a lot of fun doing it. So we brought in a real businesswoman. This is Kimberly Marie. You can't quite see her in there, but she's a hairstylist and a business coach. She brought her data into her class, and we treated her as a client, and we walked through the project. And a lot of many members participated, but I will call out the two superstars, Eric and Teresa. Gosh, they were phenomenal. They hit it out of the park, and in the end, it was a team effort. Eric built focused a lot more on the model. Teresa did something really phenomenal in the data entry, where she built something that was easy to use, just was a perfect fit for Kimberly, and Kimberly was so happy for it. So it was kind of a win-win-win. I hope. I haven't heard back from my students on the survey yet. So the students, I'm assuming they loved it. Kimberly, of course, was excited beyond belief, and I enjoyed it. So a quick update on that. Cool. So we've been spending some time on the YouTube. Let's check in. I want to check in with folks on the phone. If you have anything, just speak up. That's easiest. Urgent seems to have like a ton of comments. Yeah, on the phone, my Learn Power BI fam. If you have anything, just go ahead and speak up. Oh, interesting.
Avi, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm good. I have a unique issue. So with our company, they can do robot jobs that export the files to a folder for me.
I like the sound of that.
And yep, the only thing is some of the files I have exports more than 1 million rows. So some of them come in as comma separated files, and some of them come in as a Microsoft Excel worksheet. And so the other problem I have is the comma separated files don't have a header. Like, it's just the data with no header. And so I'm struggling on. I tried to combine a folder. So one has a header, one doesn't, so they don't exactly combine.
Okay, cool. We can tackle that. Let's tackle this one. So let's process out, and I'll say how to combine files in a folder which do not have headers. So first of all, let's say there is a folder, someplace, and then I have file a.csv and file b.csv and file c.csv. Is it kind of random that which one ends with a header, which one some have headers, some do not? Tell me about that. Is it random, or can like a human see and say, oh yeah, these are the ones without header, these are the ones with headers?
The ones that are Microsoft Excel worksheet have headers.
Okay.
So then there's like a file D that's .xls.
Got it. Yeah, so let's go here, and we'll have to come up with some random data, but that's cool. So we're gonna say, so this file without headers, it's a pretty common problem, and it comes in different variations. One variation is where the headers change slightly, and I'll talk about that. But for now, let's just tackle data without headers. And since to make it easy, I'm just gonna do it in text, but it's the same idea, right? So the solution that I use is simple, maybe too simple, and I'll see if you like it. So what I do is I have my data, and let's say James 200 Jan 29, something like that, right? And then I create a header file. So let's say John 300 Feb 16, and so forth, right? And then I name a header file. This is name, I don't know, sales, date. With me so far?
I'm with you.
Okay, cool. And then we can try it out if it makes sense. But what you do, I'll speak to it, and if you're like, oh yeah, I totally get it, then if it's still not clear, maybe we'll try it out in Power Query. So so here, what I would do first is I would append these two files, right? And then I'll say use first row as header. How does that sound?
So if you append it, doesn't it look for the header name to know which one to
cool.
append it to?
Yeah, but if you don't have headers in there, it should come in as column 1, column 2, column 3, something like that. Let's actually try it, see how it works. So data. What do you think? I mean, I'm thinking let's just quickly try it and see how it goes. Are you up for it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I will say, and I will change this to a folder scenario. Hopefully I don't get in over my head. Oops, data, that didn't work, but James, and we'll say Philip and Mary, and we'll say 250 and 100. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so and headers, you can also keep it in a separate location. So what would be more natural in your scenario? Would you be able to save the headers in that same folder, or actually I'm thinking
I could put them in the same folder.
Okay, yeah, actually now that I'm thinking, maybe it is better to have it in a separate one. Let's try that. Okay, cool. So headers in a different location. I mean, and of course, yeah. So let's try it here. So ignore these guys. So what we're gonna do is first grab all the text files and see how that works. Oh boy, yeah. Now I'm thinking maybe the headers does need to be in the same one. So what if we said I want this to be the first file. Let's try it. So what if we say new source and you give me folder. So I have done it with one file. Obviously with one file it's much easier. I haven't done it with a folder where I'm like, hey, combine all these files in a folder and give them this header. But let's just try it. Oops. So I'll go here. Oops. And hit OK. And combine and edit. Let's try it. Okay. First. Oh yeah, cool. So actually, I didn't have to. I could have named it anything. I named it 01 to make it the first file, which is makes it easier. But I could have picked any file as kind of my example file. So let's see how we're gonna do this. So we could have this is this might work. Let's see. Column 1, 2, 3. Wait. Okay, now of course there were a bunch of other files in there besides the text. So what I'm going to do is come back here and just filter to .txt. You might not need to do that, of course. And now let's see how things went. Oh my. So it looks like it worked. So we got the header file and we got data 1, data 2. Of course, if I had 20 files there, it would all be there. And they came in with this generic header, column 1, 2, 3. And all I have to do is use first row as headers. And that's it. What do you think?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
I am getting a little different issue though on when I try it.
Uh-huh.
Only because I have some are CSV and some are Excel files.
Yes,
So I'm not
absolutely. Yes.
having a Unicode issue or something like that.
Well, yeah, so notice how I came back here and only selected text files. So you're going to have to do it twice. So you're going to say, I don't know, source CSV files, and then you're going to repeat the whole process, like go to this folder, and then you're going to, so yeah, let's just try it. So, so you're going to go there again, say folder, and yeah, the same path. And for Excel files, yeah, so you'll say combine and edit again. So the file formats are different, like CSV versus Excel, but otherwise the content is similar, right? When you open the files, it looks similar. Close enough?
Okay.
Does
Yeah, I
it?
think what it's trying to do is it's trying to pick the file origin.
Wait. No. So Excel and CSV, that file type is different, but they have like the same columns inside. Is that right?
Yeah, they have the same
Cool.
columns.
Yeah. So again, so you would solve it first for CSV, and then you would go in again, and this time you would choose one of the Excel files, and you would say I want to bring this in, and of course I didn't create the Excel example files, but in here,
And that's what it's doing.
oh gosh, oh, I see what you're saying. How
So I don't know if it's the file
okay.
origin that I need to
Okay,
pick.
got it. Um, file folder. Why would it do that? Combine and edit. Gosh, I've definitely solved for Excel files in the folder.
I think what it's doing is when you try to combine the folder, it's trying to pick the first. I don't know if it's a formatting type or what it is. It's
Yeah.
analyzing the first folder.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So maybe I gave up too
First file.
quickly. Maybe we can kind of change that, control that. So let's try that again. You know what? Let me just quickly create Excel files, which kind of look like that. I'll just do 2.
Hey, Avi.
Yeah.
Here's a a creative way of doing it, I think. But it might be a little backwards for what you're trying to do. What if you bring in the Excel file and the CSV files as separate groups of files? Do not promote the Excel headers, and then so that they're all going to be basically column number for the headers, and then append them and promote the Excel headers.
Yeah.
If I think you make the Excel file the first one.
That's true.
The primary file for
I like
the append.
that. I like that. So yeah, that's a good point. I didn't need to worry about the headers for the CSV because that can come from the Excel file. So yeah, that one is good. I think we're still somehow getting stuck on the Excel source, and so I'm just going to run through that. But yeah, that's a good point. I can't think of names anymore. Jane. Gosh. All right, and 60, 790, and this will be something like Feb 19 and January 22. So for Excel, I've realized that it works much easier if the sheet name is the same. And I hope that's the case for you. So data.
Yeah, I think they'll all be called just sheet 1.
Okay, that's good. David. And we'll do. Oh boy, I do have. Data B. Okay, so we have our files. Oh gosh, I missed a meeting. Okay, we'll wind this up, and guys, I gotta bail. But let's see if we go here again, and I say folder. Folder, hit connect. Combine and edit. And I think I now realize what was going on here. So here, if we change it and say, you know what, I want you to look at data A, it shows all garbage. And we need to change that to what though? Yeah, so Heather, this is the problem that we're facing, and there's some combination here which will set it right. But you know what? We don't have to guess because
if you select Unicode, maybe.
Oh dang it, I canceled it too early. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's just do that. So we'll say new folder, and I'll just do a test just so I can figure out that what's the right combination. So now if I go file, folder, nope, do that, and now I think it'll automatically do the right thing. Combine and edit. Boo, boo, boo. First file, awesome.
I tried this and it just brought it in like it knew what it was. Like it didn't let me view that other screen that we were on.
Yeah, let's see. Come on. Okay, so this one is source Excel, and now we have this all figured out. So I can delete my test folder, and instead of that, if I go source, and I can delete the test path, point it to the real path. Maybe that didn't matter. And while I'm here, oh gosh, so I'll have to do filter it on XLSX. Now I have some other files as well, so you probably wouldn't have that problem. So I'll add one more. I'll say contains data in the name, just to get our test files. But yeah, I don't think you would need this. Oh gosh, what? Adventure Works database, of course. Okay. And if I step through the rest of the stuff, I'm expecting it'll just, oh shoot, what? Remove other columns, Oh, I know. It's complaining about the test, so yeah, so a little bit of more band-aids needed. So this one is using Which function? It's using transform file from test. Oh gosh. So this one, right?
One up. Yeah, okay, that's the function. That's the table.
Sample file. I'm actually surprised. How come? Oh, okay, got it. So if you refresh all, I'm pretty sure some of it will break. Yep, this broke, so I can just fix the test one. And this is gonna be yeah, it's a little more hairy, but let's see if we can do this. So I don't want source 01. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sure there's an easier way, but let's see if I can at least get it to work. So that worked. Let's see if this works. Ooh, the weight. Forward navigation. Oh boy, I feel like we're so close. I don't quite understand why isn't this working? Now, of course, if you would have left that test folder in there, that would have worked.
Do I need to have them in two separate folders? I could ask if they could move Excel file to its own folder. And
no, so that test folder is a red herring. I mean, you don't really need kind of anything there. It's static. It was just being referred to by this guy, and yeah, we messed a little bit of it up. So hey, I'll probably track it offline, and see. Yeah, it should be more straightforward than this. Let's see.
Is it not really easier indeed what Heather said to separate Excel and CSV files, import them, and then append queries, maybe?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do though, and yeah, it's tricky apparently when you so it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. So if you just point to a file which is a mix of text or CSV and Excel, then the auto detect ones was failing, right? So it wouldn't work. It would show kind of garbage data, and then I don't know what we needed to fix that. So we gave it like a dummy one. We said, oh, go do what you do with this Excel file, and then the idea was simply to point it back here. But yeah, so guys, I gotta take a break, but yeah, we'll solve this offline, and I'll get back to you. I wanted to thank everybody who joined online, and next week, I know for Talk Power BI, we're on a break, and actually for our Q&A call, we're on a break as well, July 4th week and all. So of course, I'm taking some time off, traveling with my family. But after that week, I hope to be back on. And yeah, if this helped, just kind of leave a comment on YouTube and let me know that, yep, this was helpful. And yeah, I have been a little bit irregular in the past, but if this keeps going and I have folks joining and asking questions, that's all I need, right? All right, folks, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye,
Right, bye. I will let know if the SharePoint SQL is working.
All right, cool.